We've got Bob Barr joining us this morning, former Georgia congressman, at Bob Barr, if you're on Twitter. And Congressman, thanks for your time. Clearly, in Georgia, there with Brad Raffensperger and a few other issues down there, there's talk of them trying to do the kind of forensic audit of the 2020 election that's been going on in Arizona. Do you support something like that? And do you have any concerns over the way things were handled in some counties in Georgia in that last election?
Oh, it was awful, not just in November of last year, but the January senatorial elections. It was a disaster, and a lot of that can be laid, as you indicated, directly at the feet of our Republican Secretary of State, who entered into an agreement with the Democrats last year that opened the floodgates for all of this massive mail-in balloting, and apparently didn't realize that that put in the hands of the major metropolitan cities under Democrat leadership the ability or non-ability to approve those massive mail-in ballots. That was a real problem. Going back right now, to be honest with you, and looking again at that, it isn't going to change anything. We know what the problem was. It was Raffensperger's baby. We've remedied that to some extent through legislation that Governor Kemp signed recently. That solves part of the problem, but I think we need to be on the lookout in Georgia to regain the one Senate seat that we lost. That was a special election, and to do everything we can to stop Stacey Abrams, who is waiting in the shadows, to run for governor again. We need to be ready for that, not worried about what happened last year.
Yeah, I refer to her as the governor in exile because she's still challenging the results of her contest with Governor Kemp all those years ago, but is angry that President Trump is still questioning the results of the 2020 election.
It's a typical Democrat contradiction and hypocrisy. It's okay for a Democrat to challenge an electoral loss, but it's not okay for a Republican to do so. People see through that, but we need to be ready to defeat her next year. If we don't, the trend that we see in a lot of Georgia counties now, where Democrats are taking over seats that traditionally have been held by Republicans, local commissioners, sheriffs, district attorneys, then that trend is going to accelerate greatly if we lose that governorship next year.
That's former Georgia Congressman Bob Barr. Congressman, what are you up to these days?
Well, actually, today I am at an NRA board meeting. I'm a member of the NRA board of directors. I've been working with that, and I've also been heading up a pro-liberty group that we've had for about a dozen years called Liberty Guard. We're fighting for individual liberty and against government abuse. We've been doing that ever since TSA started their full body scans 10 or 12 years ago. So we're continuing to fight for individual liberty against government abuse through Liberty Guard.
Good. Glad you're still in the fight, sir. Great having you on. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
Yes, sir. Bob Barr, former Georgia congressman there.